Hey legends, welcome to the Thursday Sesh on Celtic Down Under. I'm your host Jared, and joining me tonight is Willie. How you going, Willie?
I'm going all right. I've had it's been Waitangi Day here, celebration of the treaty between the Crown and the Maori people. So I've had the public holiday. I've been out in the garden. I've been walking dogs. I've had a good old day here.
Yeah, you gotta love a day, public holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, good fun. And everyone across the ditch tuning in. Hope you all had a great day today. Got some comments here, so heavy vibes, hail boys. And then was that thrashing we gave Dundee? Jota looked good. Yeah. And then perfect game for Rogers. New striker to start in. Oh wait, board failed him and us again. And then smell the glove. G'day, 13 pointers. Legend. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. So, yeah, a couple of things to talk about. So, we clearly got the Dundee game. We've got the transfer window shenanigans. And then we have the upcoming Scottish Cup game on the weekend. So, yeah, what we'll do is we'll get on with it, Willie. Just getting the had the lineup up on my phone and I changed it before, so just bear with me a second. So starting lineup today was Casper in goals, and Alistair Johnston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty and Greg Taylor across the back. Middle of the park, Callum McGregor, Arnie Engels and Rio Hatate. Up front, Adam Eder. On the wings, Desmond Mader, and the one and only Jota was back at Paradise. So, Willie, what was your thoughts heading into that game?
I was just kind of hoping to get the win, get the 3 points, and then get on to the weekend's game. It was just, this is the rearranged fixture from the Storm, and I think we discussed this game in depth the last time I was on about the preview. So here we are discussing the game now too, which doesn't normally happen for me. So yeah, I was just looking forward to getting in and seeing a game of football on my day off. I'd get a good win. It'd be a good start to my little day off, like so.
Yeah, happy days, Willie. So, yeah, for me, it was one of those ones where I'm looking at it going, normally before we have a Champions League game, we tend to have the game that we play before it is like a dress rehearsal, particularly under Brendan, right? So I'm looking at this lineup going, yep, this is pretty much a dress rehearsal for the upcoming Bayern game, except then I twigged that Maeder's in the starting lineup, so that's not going to happen. So that's actually made sense to give Jota out on the left, which actually I actually rate him on the left a lot more than I do on the right. And we'll talk about Jota in a little bit. But Maeder on the right, there's been talk he hates it over there. Well, he hates it so much that he absolutely tore the house down. So, yeah, it was interesting. But you can just take him out, put Kun in for Bayern, and I don't really think we're going to lose too much for that game. So, yeah, it was an interesting run there. And, yeah, it was happy days to get in there, get the points. As what's being said here by Mazzano, 13 points and a plus 30 goal difference over them, 100%. So it's basically 14 points, let's be honest. So we're absolutely flying. Now, what is there, 13 games to go in the season, Willie?
Yeah, 13 left, I think it is.
Yeah, so what do you do? Win 6 of them or whatever, and you pretty much got it in the bag. So if my maths is right. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. So hail James, thanks for tuning in. And then Smell the Glove is saying the only downer now is you're crapping at any time Eder stops and feels his calf between now and May. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I think Willie's gonna when you tune right in at the start, Willie had the guns out already. I think he's ready to just punch onto the board over here with what I've been sending in our group chat. So it could get a little interesting, a little fiery later on, but we'll just focus on the game at first and then we'll get into the transfer stuff. So for me, it was a bit of a tough one because I had issues with my service provider this morning. So no internet until halftime. Great fun. So I've watched the replay. I've gone back and watched the first half. So I'm going to rely on you, Willie, for the rundown of the first half. Then we'll chat about the goals and then we'll just crack on the second half, which is where I actually saw it all live. So what was your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, really positive first half, in and out of possession. Not that we were without the ball for too long in that first half. We hounded Dundee off the ball, on and off the ball. Possession starts, I think it was 80 to 20 in our favour. Shows how effective we were at doing that. Overall, we played really well in the first half. We just weren't ruthless enough. I mean, 1.15 XG, 7 shots, 4 on target, 2 big chances, and 2 big chances taken shows the kind of dominance we had over them. I mean, I think their XG is one of the lowest I've ever seen at Celtic Park, which was 0.05 XG. But we just dominated them for the full half of football. We didn't. I think we could have got a few more goals out of it, but we just quietly went about our work, passed the ball around, moved them about the pitch. I mean, Team America and Casper could have set up a poker school at the back there and just played between themselves and not bothered. You know what I mean? It really was that comfortable. And I think the big thing for me was watching Maida out on the right. I'm one of these people that thinks Maida doesn't quite like it out there on the right, and I did say it in the group chat. I didn't think he was enjoying it out there, and I think he was quieter in the first half than he was in the second half. But after he got his goal, he went out. We'll talk about it later, but he went out there and absolutely smashed it from there on in. Although he was effective, he was quieter out there. But you see Jota on the left. We're trying to get him back up to sort of match fitness. So overall, it was a good workout, right? The first half. Definitely the couple we'll talk about, we'll cover them shortly, I think.
Yeah, so with Jota on the left, like the main thing I want to say about the him playing there is it's good in a way because Maeda we know can play as a striker and he's going to have to now at times. We know what he can do on the left. Get him on the right. That just shows he's complete forward. He can play anywhere across the front three for us. The reason Jota's got to play on the left is that's his natural position. First time at the club, Dazen was playing on the left, so Jota got pigeonholed to the right, got pushed over there. And then Abada was on the bench, right? So that's pretty much what happened first time around. Get him on the left because against Bayern Munich, our options are either him or Yang comes in. So you kind of have to force the issue and get him up to speed in that position in the team so he can get used to looking for Ida's runs, looking for where the other winger is, where the midfielders like to play, where they could play one-touch football, where they, knock it around and when we recycle the ball and get used to it. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So, what Mazzano, did you forget about Abada in Jota's first stint at the club? That's what I was talking about. So when he was there playing under Ange, you had Maeda played on the left, you had Jota on the right, and Abada was on the bench. And then when Maeda went off, if he went off, Jota went to the left, and then you had Abada come on and play right. That's what I was talking about when I mentioned him. I'm not talking about the team now. But yeah, it was good to see a good 60 minutes into him anyway. But yeah, well, I was looking at some game stats here, and this is what I liked, Willie. You said we had 80% possession, but we had almost 600 more passes than them. Pass accuracy 89%, 58% to them. Look, the fouls, the yellow cards, everything was under control. 2 offsides, which was decent. But the thing is, we only had 6 corners. They only had 3. That's kind of low for us. Like all season, we're pretty much just banging in a heap of corners. So I think when I was watching the second half, they were like, "Oh, that's the first corner of the half," and it was like almost stoppage time. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, it's overall with this game, like we got the penalty for the first goal. Trusty got battered and bungled around. That was such an ugly call. Like we all know the referee's persuasion in this game, and he was given the foul against Trusty. Let's be honest. And then he had to go look at the monitor, and he had to do it. And it was like, yeah, it was just an awful one. It was good to see Engel step up and not dick around with it and just put the laces through it. So that was pretty good. And then Ida did Ida things later on. So yeah, what was your thoughts on the first half goals, Willie?
Yeah, it was definitely a penalty. I mean, the guy was trying to pull the shorts down at one point, right? So, but I think he just Trusty got goal side of that Portales, and that was it. Portales was in a whole world of trouble from there on in, and I think the referee thinks that Trusty barges into. I can't remember who was in front of Trusty at the time, but I think he's picked him up for barging into him. But the fact of the matter is, because Portalis is falling down behind Trusty, he's trying to pull him down with him. Trusty's hit the guy in front of him, and I think that's what the referee's picked up. But how he's missed Portalis trying to pull the shorts down, I can't get my head around that. I mean, you meant to be in prime position to see all these sorts of things, and obviously it goes to BAR. It gets called. He goes over to the screen, and his decision's corrected. So it's sorted itself out, but yeah, it should have been called at the time. But the second goal, I thought the second goal was a well worked goal. I mean, Ida breaks inside the box, gets a shot away, which the keeper parries, and then did the keeper parry? Did it hit the post? And then
another goal.
Jota fired a shot in, and then Ida managed to get back up, but he gets hit over the ball and got his shot away. So it was a good goal. It was well taken, so. Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, that's Ida hitting the kind of form. Last time I was on, we said that hopefully this is going to him to kick on and just to find that bit of confidence. And it looks as though that's happening now at the right time for us.
I'm gonna run a risk here of pretty controversial things. So I'm gonna say this is a bit of a hot take at the moment. But love Kyogo, but suddenly you see Kyogo comes out. Ida has really taken the bull by the horns. It's like, okay, I'm the main striker now. So he's stepping up and he's focused and his runs and everything is there. Maida has stepped up, being like, all right, I've got to do this too. Kun's been on fire all season. And then you add someone of Jota's ability into it. And our whole front four, particularly like of those guys, those four guys there rotating through three positions, we look so much deadlier and we look more dangerous in more areas of the pitch. So the whole hot take here is sometimes it's addition by subtraction. Like, I love Kyogo. The wee man is an absolute legend of the club, but I don't know. It just seems like some of our guys are playing a bit freer.
Yeah, there is. I mean, the physical presence that Ida pulls centre halves with him, he might drag one or two with him at times, and that opens up space for midfield runners to get in beyond. It's something you see. It worked with Kyogo too. Kyogo's pace would often pull defenders away, but with the physical presence of Ida, it seems to be working. It seems to be working well at the moment. So long may it continue, and hopefully he stays injury free too. So.
Yeah, and it's opening up space at the top of the box as well for our midfielders to get some shots in there. Yeah. Andrew, I'm not saying Kyogo's rubbish, okay? If I had my way, he'd still be at the club. What I'm saying is all season I've said on the pod, Kyogo's 1A, Ida's 1B in terms of our main strikers. We had two starting level strikers. You take Kyogo out of this, and now Ida is the main man. And he's found great, and he's coming into form. He's getting a run of games. He's getting himself into the form we saw at the end of last season. That's what I was saying. Our wingers have been in poor form for a little while since the Leipzig game. Now they're starting to come back into form. So this is what we need. It's great that it's happened, and the team was always going to get a doing from us at some point. So it's starting to see it. So, yeah, I'm going to miss Kyogo. But, yeah, it's definitely good that, the other guys are stepping up. That's the point I was trying to make. So, Willie, your thoughts on the second half?
Yeah, sensational half of football. Just about everything we touched turned to gold in that second half. It really was a joy to watch. Like Jota showing shades of his old self. You know what I mean? This is that half of football is the kind of thing where his match sharpness is starting to return to him, which is good. His assist from Yeda was just sublime, and that really, that sparked Maeda into life as well for the half, I thought, because, as I said, I did think Maeda was having a quietly effective sort of game, but not as his usual dynamic self out on the right. Jota came off, Maeda moved over to left, and I think he just exploded onto the game. I think I felt sorry for their right back. He's sitting there, he's had to deal with Jota for 60 minutes, and then all of a sudden, Dyson Maeda shifts across the pitch. He must be sitting there thinking, I do deserve this. But again, 80 to 20% possession, passing accuracy went up to 92%, 11 shots, 4 of them on target, 3 big chances taken, 1 missed. It it was a complete performance in that second half for me. We just ran over the top of them and took them apart. Like,
Yeah, I agree with you, Willie. The speed of play. I've been talking about that for a little while. The one-touch passing, I want that to come back. And you put a player like Jota in there, and you see how much we've missed him in terms of getting the ball back to boarding. Particularly if you look at, which goal was it? The fourth one, where we've gone from the back corner, where he's back in the left back position, and then we swing it. We get a little knock around, then we get it out wide, and through we go. I think it was that Dazen's second one. So you look at it and go, the speed of our play, and it's one here, one there, it'll just knock it around. It's just great to see. Like, I was just impressed by that as well. But yeah, overall, defense, very, very solid. Middle of the park, I thought Engels is just coming in, looks settled now, and he is playing unreal at the moment. And you see the class in the guy. And then you look at our forward structure, whether it's Maida, Ida, Jota, Kun, we've got a lot of goals in us. So yeah, there we go. So there's about 70 goal contributions from our wide players this season. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So yeah, we're doing well, all things considered.
Yeah.
So, Willie, second half goals. We've spoken about some of it. So, Maida making a run, header at the back post, class finish. It was basically all the goals in the second half. Let's be honest. It was we're going for a goal of the season shooting contest. That's pretty much what it seemed like to me.
Yeah.
Like, after Maida's one, then you get the one I mentioned where we've gone from back to front really quick on the counter for Maida's second goal. Crazy. Engels' second goal, the dip on that was unreal. The way it's just come in, looks like it's going, then it's just dipped and hit the crossbar and went in. And then Kun does some Kun things with that goal. He shot that. I'm like, yeah, it's going in, as I was watching it. So yeah, it was just class all around. What was your thoughts on any of the goals?
I think for me, Dyson Mieda's one it's epitomises the type of football you love to watch. You're pinned in your own corner. I think it's a 3v2 situation. All of a sudden, we get the ball to our centre half, and within 3 moves, three touches of the ball, it's in the top corner, dinked over the goalkeeper. It was just absolutely sublime. You know what I mean? And as you say, Engels ran the show in that midfield last night or this morning, whenever it was, and yeah, he's just coming into his own now. He's really stamping his authority in the Scottish game at this moment in time. And I put it in the group chat. Nobody answered, but is that his first goal from open play? Or
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, what a way to do it! Like, you know what I mean? He's 8th goal of the season, 7 penalties, and that can't argue with that sort of return.
Yeah, I have to agree with it. And then there's a comment up here that I just found from Mazzano saying couldn't look pissed off and hungry when he came on. He didn't look happy coming off the bench, did he? But the weapons that we had coming off the bench shows that, you know, we're onto something here. The fact that you're bringing on Kun and Bernardo, and who else was it that came on later on? There was another couple of good subs. Oh, you had brought on the new left back, Schlup. That's the one. I'm hopeless with names. But yeah, you bring on Schloop and you bring on, there's a couple of others, but yeah, just trying to get the lineups up again.
I think Johnny Kenny came on for Ida.
Luke McCowan.
Luke McCowan, chocolate bar.
So the fact that you're able to bring on Kun, McCowan, Schlup, Bernardo, and Kenny, happy days with that.
Yeah.
So any other things you want to discuss about the game, or should I just go to the comments and bring up a whole bunch of...
No, I don't think there is anything else I need to add. I think we said all we can. I mean, it really was a joy to watch that second half. You couldn't take your eyes off it. Just pressed the life at them, just passed the ball around them so effectively. It was great to watch. Right, so yeah, good game.
All right. So what we'll do then, Willie, before we go through some comments, I want to get your man of the match. Who was it?
Engels, without a question, Engels. He stamped his authority on that game. He ran the show in the middle of the pitch. So Engels for me.
Yep, I'd pretty much go Engels, or I would be going Maida, not far behind him. Couple of goals, but even Rio's was one of the better players when he was out there as well. So yeah, plenty of great contributors there. Yeah, good fun. So we'll bring some comments up. So Big Rab saying problem with our wingers, Maida and Kuhn are very similar. Players both cut inside where Jota can take a man on, and you could see them putting 3 or 4 players on him. I agree with what you're saying that they're similar. They both like to cut inside. Even Yang does the same thing, right? When he plays. Palmer used to try and do the same thing. Now, the question I've got for you, Willie, is that something that's coached into our wingers to do that, to allow the fullbacks to overlap? Because remember back to Brendan's first stint at the club, one wing he had Jamesy Forrest or Paddy Roberts cutting in on the right, and on the left he had Scott Sinclair cutting in. Then Tierney was able to overlap, and Lustig was able to overlap on the other side. So do you think the problem with our wingers, as Big Rab saying here, is that they're all similar and they all cut inside, or do you think that's the instruction they're getting from the gaffer?
I think that's the instruction you get from the gaffer. I think most wingers play that way nowadays. It's about the high press, and if you want to press, you want that 5 pressing their defence, then you've got to have your striker, your 2 wingers inside them, and then probably 2 fullbacks up. 1 fullback certainly, and a centre midfielder, and creating a front sort of 5 pressing them in. So you need the winger to be sort of inside for the fullback to overlap, to keep that high line of press on them. So yeah, I think that is just the way the modern game is now. You don't often see a winger who just gets to the byline and swings across in.
And if you do that, you're called a dinosaur nowadays. Or you're playing in the A-League.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heavy vibes. Sorry, go on, Willie.
No, I was just going to say, I think with Jota, he's not as direct as that. He gives you that little bit of flair out there, something that we haven't had. We just have directness with Maeda and Kuhn. They're so direct, and even like Forrest, he's direct as well as Yang as well. Yang likes to get just to run at people with the ball, but not as effective as Kuhn in that. But Jota gives you that little bit of flair, which gives you that something different up there, which is good to see.
Yep. So heavy vibes. I said, sad thing is a game like this has the board thinking, we right, Roger's wrong. We'll discuss that a little later on. Smell the Glove is saying Dazen Player of the Year. At the moment, it has to be him. Paul Birrell, hail. Paul, thanks for tuning in. McLaughlin is saying Jota's not even played 90 minutes yet in these 2 games. He's scored 1 and assisted 2 goals already. He's home. And then McLaughlin's followed up with saying Skybet gave Jota the assist for Eda's goals last night. I think it was shot on target, saved and rebounds and scored, yet you still get an assist. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Andrew's saying Maida has improved his crossing too, hasn't shanked too many lately. And then McLaughlin saying he's maturing Maida and is edging towards his peak. And that's what it is for me. Like, he's starting to hit peak form and everything. So, yeah, it's great to see. Now, Big Dom is saying, what a shame Dazen is banned for the first Bayern game. Yep, definitely agree on that. Now, the Pork Chop Express has changed his name, everyone, to the Pork Schlop Express. So, great job. Love it. Hope you have a great day. And then Big Rab is saying, I'm hearing the club may be interested in bringing Franchetti back He had 179 games, 87 goals, 38 assists. Would you take him back? Still a £14 million rated forward. The thing you're missing in that one comment there, Big Rab, he's a free agent at the end of the season too. We all know how much Peter Lawwell loves something for free, and the board likes to pull money and just get something for free. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. I'll have to dust my old top out with his name and number on the back. That's in a tub back here somewhere, and might have to rip it out for a pod. But look, if that's what Brendan wants in there, that's the sort of striker that we could get, and we know he's of the right standard, then could do a lot worse. What do you think, Willie?
It's always good to find an old top, dust it down, and then it's just horrible to put it on and realise you're 2 sizes smaller back when you had it.
I can honestly say something, Willie.
I'm
a big boy. Okay, got the old it's not a 6-pack, it's a party keg on the front, right? The old beer gut. Let's just say I've actually have lost some since I had that top, so it might actually be okay for once.
Good for you. My tops, even the tops I've got now, they're starting to pull their weight, shall we say, with the stretchability on some of them. Like, so it's aye. Anyway, Edward, I would take him back. Aye, he was good for us. I mean, he's a quality player, so if we get him for free, why not? Right?
So, Smell the Glove is saying Paddy Roberts on the phone to Lawwell as well. God, you imagine if he came back, right, and you had Kun backed up on that side by Paddy Roberts. Who's got the better hair out of the 2 wingers? Seriously. And then you look at the other side and you've got Jota and you've got Maida. Yeah. This one here from Andrew, there'll be bigger wages elsewhere for the Frenchman. Anyone heard of the Turkish league? That'll suit him. Been Big Dom, apparently in the news, Brendan won most handsome manager in the SPFL or the SPL.
Not much competition, is there?
Is as I say, is the bloke at Livy still there? Martindale?
He's still there, actually, aye.
There you go. It's a head only a mother could love. Yes, anyway, we'll go into the stuff. I know you want to, Willie. It's time to unleash. So transfer roundup is pretty simple. Transfer deadline day, we brought in Jeffrey Schlupp as backup left back. On top of that, we had Jota in, Kyogo out, Palmer out, and, a few little bits here and there like Odin home, went to LA and so on and so forth. Nothing major to write about. So I want to get your thoughts, Willie. Are you happy with Schlupp coming in at left back?
I mean, we needed cover in the left back area. Yes, he showed some good touches in the game this morning. He showed some not so good touches too, but he's quite expensive. From what I was reading, he's on 30k a week from us and 30k a week also from Crystal Palace. So he's getting 60k a week at the moment, right? And he's 32 years of age. It's a position we needed to address, and they've addressed the position, but it seems to be very, very costly for someone who might not be sticking around long term. You never know. He might take. I can't see him taking a wage reduction of 30k a week just to come and stay at Celtic next season, but remains to see. But I wish him all the best. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and just pan him straight away because I don't think he's going to be good enough for us. But I think the jury. I mean, the jury's out at the moment. Time will tell.
So I'm going to go on a little tangent now. So it's not often this happens. The talk has been, we bring Kieran Tierney back to the club, right? Greg Taylor has been asking for 25k a week. We say no because you don't want to pay the backup that much money. Yet, you have a look at it, as you're saying, Willie, Greg Taylor's still our starter. Schlupp's our backup. He's got 60,000 a week. 30 of that's coming from us. So we're setting that precedent now. We're paying 30,000 for the backup, yet apparently the club didn't want to go to 25 to keep Taylor at the club. Make it make sense. Like, at the end of the day, maybe this means we come to the party and our left backs next season will be Taylor and Tierney. Could happen. But, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Like, that's the thing that I find odd about it. I have no problem with Schlupp coming in. Good enough player. Ticks a lot of the boxes. He's got the right, resume and all that sort of stuff. Cool. Happy with that. But the fact of the matter is, I wanted an upgrade on Greg Taylor for Europe. Didn't happen. We've got Tierney coming in next year, which is the upgrade. Great. Sorted. But now we get ourselves in this situation where I just find it weird. The fact that Schlupp is earning probably two to three times the money that Taylor is on across us and Crystal Palace to be his backup. It just doesn't seem right.
I think the age thing too. He's 6 months younger than James Forrest. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of money to be paying out for somebody who's in. I'm not going to say he's in the twilight of his career, because he's obviously not. He's got a couple of good seasons left in him, but it's a lot of dough to be shelling out for a player who, let's face it, if we do try and sign him next season, he will want that 30,000, and if we have KT as well, he's going to be a bit part player. That's a lot of money for a bit part player. You know what I mean? Even this season, he's going to be a bit part player because Greg Taylor's integral to the team and how they play at this moment in time, and having that settled back four. So I don't know. It just seems to be a bit of low hanging fruit. They've reached out and grabbed her because he was a bit part player at Crystal Palace. Like I said, it seems to be a bit of low hanging fruit. They've just reached out and maybe for me paying slightly too much for.
Yep, I'd have to agree. So what I'm going to do is so we've got here, so Smell the Glove is saying, unfortunately, though, a lot of the deadwood are still on loan. So we're talking about here, Mazzano was saying we got plenty of deadwood off the wage bill. Smell the Glove was saying, fortunately, still there. Big Dom is saying Taylor deserves the money. Mazzano is saying give Taylor the money. Totally agree. Andrew Glows, we just don't pay enough generally. Heavy Vibes, pay Taylor. Smell the Glove. I want Greg to move on for himself. His haters will go full on any game he plays in front of KT next season. Valid point. And then as Andrew's saying here, we're competing with English Championship clubs for players. Wages need to be bigger. The Pork Schlop Express is saying, I think by the end of the season, we'll be looking for Schlop to sign on for next season, but not on 60K a week. And then Big Dom is, if we exit the Champions League shortly, what do we need Schlop for? Apparently he can play three positions, so he gives us another left winger, he gives us a striker, and he gives us a left back. So I think that's what the club's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking the piss with that comment. So Willie, I'm giving you the floor right now. Let us know, discuss the incompetence of Celtic's recruitment team in this window. My opinion is we clearly didn't get Brendan the players he wanted. There's this comment from Heavy Vibes saying, Rogers asked for a striker, board fouled him, can't blame him if he walks again because Celtic fans are loaded. It's because of the fans Celtic are loaded, not Lawwell. Floor's yours, Willie.
Yeah, it's been another underwhelming window from the hierarchy of the club. I mean, the aim every season is to leave the window, or when the window closes, you're in a stronger position than when the window opened. We definitely are not stronger. I mean, Schlupp and Jota have come in. We've lost Kyogo, Burnaby, Holm, Welsh, and Palmer, all departed. But Brendan himself has said he feels let down. Phrases like it wasn't ideal are becoming the norm from him after every window, and it just seems to he's just trying to gloss over the disappointment in front of the media, and you can see it's there in his eyes. I mean, it's the third window in succession he's trotted out these lines like, yeah, we should absolutely have done better. Like, so for me, it's not good, and where does the blame lie? For me, Martin Nicholson needs to have a look at himself and say, look, why is my negotiating skills not meet cutting the mustard when we're trying to get the players that the manager wants? I mean, we let Kyogo go without having a replacement locked in. That's just criminal for me. The league's top scorer disappears from the club, and we've known for 5 months he wants to go. He changed his agent in July. By August, he would have made it aware that I want to go because I'm not getting international recognition here at Celtic. I need to go to a bigger league in order to that happen. So we've had 5 months to prepare for that. And what did they do to prepare for that? Well, Kvistgarden seems to be the only option they have, or the only player that they're looking at. And right now, Bromby must be laughing at us. And there's Celtic back in. That's 3 windows on the bounce. We've tried to sign Kvistgarden. That's 18 months in total we've been chasing him. Bromby are just laughing at us. Oh, there's another window closed. Quick, stick another couple of million on his asking price for the next one because they'll be back next time round. And yeah, I don't know. It's just become evident that there's no succession plan in place. There's no contingency plan there. I mean, Iniacho was rumoured to be another player that they were going to look at if Kvistgarden didn't come, and Kvistgarden didn't come. And what happened with Iniacho? Well, he went to Middlesbrough because Middlesbrough could match his 115k a week wages. We're never going to pay that kind of money. I mean, apparently we offered him 50k a week, and he was kind of thinking about coming until Middlesbrough came in. But at 50k a week, you're taking in a loan player for 6 months to play in the Scottish, play 2 playoff games. You're just kicking the can down the road there. You need somebody in position who's going to come in and who's still going to be there next season. Iniacho wouldn't have been there next season. There's no way Iniacho would sign for Celtic. Right? We need somebody in position that should have been signed in this window to replace Kyogo. So when the Champions League qualifiers come round in the middle of August, I think it is, we play, that striker is bedded into the team. And if there's an injury to Ida, or Ida's getting marked at the game by a defender who's just got his number, then we can bring that other option on. Right now, we haven't got that. And when you look at it on the face of it, we look like we're going to go into these qualifiers with Kenny, Cummins, and Ida as our front three, because our board never moves in the windows until the last minutes. You look at the signings we made last year. Who was it? It was Engels, Trusty, McCowan, and somebody else came in, and it was all like the 29th, 30th of August before they came in. So it's not great. It's not great from the board, and I'm not going to sit here and say heads need to roll with that, but we need to start asking questions, because we got rid of Mark Lowell because we thought he was a yes man and he wasn't good enough for his job, and we brought in Tisdale. Now, Tisdale came in at the end of the last window, so he should be looking to try and make an impression here. Like, you know what I mean? And nothing's jumping out of me. But yes, Jota's come in, and Jota's a good player, but Jota and Schlupp, for me, it's low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? They've just reached out and grabbed it, and they've made, like, Schlupp came in, and it was like, oh, we've got him in at the last minute. It was like a done deal at the end of the transfer window. This is a deal that should have been done at the start of the transfer window. Okay, you've got Arteta sat there at Highbury with his fucking knuckles stuck to the floor and his brown brogues on, going, I'm not selling him to use until his contract's up. That's fair enough. That's fine. We should have just walked away and says, right, fine, Schlupp's available. Go and get him. Leave KT where he is until the summer. Again, it's, as I say, it's low-hanging fruit. It was easy to do. And for me, it's a massive failing from the board this window. And it's the third one in a row. So it's just not good enough.
So I'll share something from our group chat. So our scouting, generally speaking, is poor. We used Andrew's contacts, now Brendan's, but it needs to be more robust than that. We can't just depend on the manager's contacts. Tisdale should be bringing more to the table. Our targets this window were 2 ex-players, a player we've been tracking for at least 18 months, an ex-player of the manager, and a player we've had on the radar since the summer before Paul Tisdale joined. So realistically, you look at it that way. What you're saying, Willie, about they'll just chuck money on Bromby for Kvistgarden, right? Yeah. Originally, we were in for him, it was 6 million. That was too expensive. Then it was 8 million. Now they're wanting like 12.5, 13 million, right? So what I'm seeing here is they wanted 13 million or 12.5, 13 million and a sell-on chunk. they'll probably want 15 in the summer. Let's be honest. So realistically, it's gonna be a bit of an interesting situation to see how it all plays out. I think we need to really get our scouting up to speed, because I've said in the group chat and I've said on the pod before that you see second division teams in Germany and in Holland going, okay, there's a player that we want. We can't buy him in the winter window. So by the end of February, they've done a pre-contract and a deal with their club. They bought them, and as soon as the next window opens, they come in and they get them on, June 1st or whatever the window opens up, bang, in they come. Why can't we do that? We're not organised enough. We've got people who aren't purpose at the club in certain roles. The only scout I know of at the club who's any good is Tosh McKinley. But the rest of the guys, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they do. We got David Pleat coming in. The guy's looks like he's getting around the Zimmer frame from game to game. Like, honestly, it's just awful. Like, we've done that with KT. Yeah, damn it. We've got KT on the pre-contract. Perfect. Let's identify the other players we want. If you want Edouard to come back, for instance, like was discussed earlier in the pod, he's a free agent. Make him the offer, get it signed, bang, done, sorted. We have qualifiers to play. We know the sort of players we want, so let's get out there and do it. So, I don't know, I just find it really frustrating. Like, it's not fit for purpose, and the reason people are saying, like, are constantly on the board, and for me, I say this as well, is the reason I blame the board is because anything in business, whether it's sports, whether it's in a financial institution, whether it's in international trade, whatever, what you allow is what you accept. So if someone comes into the office and every morning he's like, good morning, fuckers, how are you? And he's like really swears all the time, and your company policy is no swearing, but you allow him to get away with it because he's the owner's kid, then that's what you accept as a standard. If you have people come in constantly scouting and there's no one that is worth signing, well, then you're accepting that. We've got to be better. We've got to hold ourselves to a higher account. And yeah, Mazzano saying, has KT signed a pre-contract? Apparently, it'll be signed in the next week. It's with these agents and stuff at the moment. Now, I'm going to go through some comments, and we'll see how that goes. So, Mazzano is saying the new European format effectively reduced this transfer window to 1 week. Yeah and no. Like, you could sign the players you want, get them in earlier, and then they play the domestic games, which means you get your players freshened up, the ones who are eligible for Europe, so they're fit to play, right? So you can look at it one or two ways. Smell the Glove is saying, in the summer, Lawler and Co. won't buy until Champions League qualifiers are over, giving us about 2 days. That's what you were saying, Willie. And that's the fear. And then Heavy Vibes is saying, from Lawwell came to Celtic, almost all transfer windows are a letdown. Mazzano saying, how is Brendan's phone contacted our whole recruitment department? Big Rab saying, this is Rogers, not the board. It was the same first time around. Ange got told no and moved on to the next player, i.e. Matt O'Reilly deal and the CCV deal. Yeah, the O'Reilly deal is spot on. He wanted Riley McGree. He went to Middlesbrough. Cool. Let's go get O'Reilly from MK Dons. That worked well. So, yeah, it was a good one there. Go on, Willie.
I was just going to say that that's fair enough, but there doesn't seem to be somebody else to move on to. It just seems to be, right, we've got this guy, Kvistgaard, and he's great. Let's go and sign him. Oh, no, that's failed. That's right. Who's next on the list? Oh, well, that was the only one we're working on, Brendan. What about you? How many of your ex-players are out there that aren't kind of happy with the club? Is any of them we could give a phone call to? Like, you know what I mean? I will try Iniacho. I don't think he's having a great time out in Spain. Give him a phone, see what you can do there. It was the same with the goalkeeping situation. There was no contingency plan for Joe Hart. It was Brendan Rodgers' phone book. It's all right, Brendan. Can you give Casper a phone and see if he'll come in? Like, you know what I mean? Left back situation, who are we going for? We're going for KT. Is that the board's moving for that, or is that just the left back contacts we have don't want to sign? What about you? Do you know anyone, Brendan? There just seems to be a lack of cohesion at the boardroom level. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on up there, but right now it's not working, and somebody needs to be asking serious questions about the competency levels up there.
Yep. And then we get this comment from Smell the Glove. Dermot rules Lorwell rules Nicholson, and so on. So then we got here, we depend on managers to get players. Scouting system's a waste of money, and the youth system's a waste of cash as good players leave as soon as they hit 18. Yeah, so it's about £3 million a year we're spending on our youth academy for absolute diddly squat. Our scouting system is hopeless. So, yeah, let's hope they can sort some stuff out and do things there. Big Rab saying everyone's blaming the board. I've watched under 4 or 5 managers. The only one that didn't get players in early is Rodgers wanting unrealistic targets. I don't actually think we had targets this time around, other than, as we were saying, KT and Kistgarden. That's about it. Now, Big Dom is saying for the success Brendan has brought the club, particularly for its finances, you'd expect the board to repay him. Yeah, well, you'd want to get players in. Typhoon McFlustery, we have now no forward thinking at the highest level. Pork Schlop Express, if Tisdale was responsible for shifting players out on loan, then he did not bad. If he gets them out permanently in the summer, even better. But players coming in the summer is equally as important. Yes, identify them, sign them early if you can. Get it done. What are you thinking, Willie?
I'm thinking, Tisdale might get a wee pass on this because he's just in the door, but you would think there'd be a couple of signings there that Tisdale will be pushing forward and get these guys in to try and make an impression when his first window does open. But if he shifted these guys out on loan, then fair play, or gotten guys off the books, and fair play for that. And like I say, he's fresh in the job, a couple of months. It might be that he gets a bit of a pass, but overall it's been shambolic, right? So for me, it's not great at all to look at once the window closed. I kind of knew, you knew from like halfway through the window, you were just like, that we're not getting anything here, are we? Like, this is going to be a disaster again. And I just kind of got that vibe the whole way through the window. It was just like, fucking here we go again. Another one of these disastrous windows where we just don't get what we need. Never mind what we want, what we need.
Yep, I have to agree, Willie. It was just, there was times where I thought, okay, things are going to ramp up real quick and we're going to get 3 or 4 in. Like last Monday, not this Monday Spot Noodle, the one before, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to happen. And then, but didn't happen. And then you sit going, yeah, egg on me face on this one. So, I get you. So Big Rab is saying there's no point sorting scouting out unless Rodgers himself is open to the players they find. He refused to play any one player that he doesn't personally find and target. And then he said, my point was it's not the scouts themselves. It's Rodgers doesn't want any other players. He targets the same players at Leicester as he did the first time around. Yeah, that was what was that right back? Was that right back that he signed, the Belgian guy, Timothy Castagne? That's who you're talking about there. Typhoon McFlustery, it seems to me the board have already flung in the towel for the buy-in game and are content to just have success at domestic level. And that's the disappointing thing. Who knows when we're going to be back at this level in the Champions League? I'm not trying to, downplay it, but it's been that long since we made the knockouts. It's been like 12 years to make the knockouts in the Champions League. There's no guarantees we're going to be back at the knockout stages next year. We still have to qualify.
That's the thing, isn't it? You're playing. Here we are looking at a knockout game, and we're already playing jeopardy with group stage football, league stage football next season, because we're not going out and signing players when we need them. Not players that we want, but players that we need in that position at that time. I mean, is Cummings signed a pre-contract with one of the Premier League teams? That means we could have 2 fit strikers going into one of these qualifying games. Right?
Off to West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not ideal. So basically, all we've got at the moment under contract, ready to go for in the summer for the qualifiers, is Ida and Johnny Kenny. That's about it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, yeah, what you already gave your answer on it. So, have we come out of this window with a weaker squad, a stronger squad, or a similar level squad than we went into it with? You're saying we're weaker, Willie. Me, I think we're slightly weaker. Nothing like there's certain positions, like going into it, I thought we were weak at left back and on the left wing. And those 2 positions were the positions that need strengthening. Well, left back's covered in terms of we signed KT and we've got Schlupp there, so that's sorted. But is Schlupp better than Valle? Don't know. So that's where I can't really tell if we're weaker or not. So I'm going to call that one a wash. But then the left wing is definitely stronger now because we've got Jota in. That's a hell of an upgrade over Palmer. But then you go to the centre forward situation, and to have where I was saying 1A and 1B in terms of your 2 starting level strikers and Ida and Kyogo, to now have Ida and Johnny Kenny, that's a bit of a drop off. So that's probably a bigger drop off than the improvement from Palmer to Jota on the left. So that's why I think we're slightly worse off. But, you know, in Brendan, we trust our players, and what's I was saying, keep the faith and everything and get on with it, basically. So, yeah, it's disappointing. But, yeah, we'll figure it out. So what I'll do is before we go to preview this weekend's Scottish Cup game, I want to give a shout out to a company that has supported the Celtic Down Under podcast. So if you have any jerseys you want to get framed over in Scotland, reach out to MCM Framing Services. They're more than happy to help out. So, yeah, I just wanted to give them a shout out. Appreciate you guys. And, yeah. So, Willie, how are you feeling heading into the match against Raith Rovers? Scottish Cup. Got to get the win. That's pretty much all that matters to me.
Fairly confident on this one. Like Barry Robson coming back to visit us as Raith manager. So, yeah, it's going to be, I think it will be a comfortable afternoon for us.
Yeah, I think it's one where we'll get the win, but it's not, I don't know if it, this is the thing for me that gets in my head about it when I think about it is this really the sort of game you want as your last or going into the knockout stages for the first time in 12 years in the Champions League against Bayern Munich of all clubs? Like, for me, I would rather we were playing a game that's a bit tougher because it keeps you, you're battle hardened and everything. But then at the same time, this could be a one to, as I said, we had our dress rehearsal against Dundee. We won that 6-0. Now we can rotate some players, give a few of them a break here, so they get a full week of training and fitness, refreshment, getting refreshed and everything ready to go against Bayern. So that's my general thoughts heading into it. I don't know how to view it. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? But it is a game I expect us to win. I expect them to sit back deep, try and hit us on the counter, and for us to get out there and press them and, try and just smash a bunch of goals past them. So how you think both teams are going to play, and are you expecting it to be a high-scoring match or a tough slog, Willie?
I think it'll be a reasonable. I think we'll get a reasonable score on Saturday. They generally play with a 4-2-3-1, so I kind of expect that midfield 3, the high 3, to drop a bit deeper to create a 4-5-1 out of possession. They'll probably try and play that 4-2-3-1 on the break should any situations like that arise. But they're on their form is. I was having a wee look at their form guide, that they're very, very indifferent. They're win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose 2 games. They're very, very hit or a miss. They sit in the middle of the table in the championship. They're not going to get promoted, and they're not in risk of relegation. It's one of those forgettable sort of seasons for them. So I don't really see anything else other than a routine win here. And to your point, I think if we go out and get 2 or 3 goals in the first half, we can mix things up a bit. We can take players in and out, get keep Jota on for 90 minutes to try and get that amount of sharpness back into him, and any players who might look at the fitness levels, the sports scientists might say, look, take him off after a certain amount of time to try and keep his fitness levels to their peak for the game coming up, or someone might need a bit more of a run out, get them in to get a bit more time. So it is a chance to sort of play around with the squad a little bit in the build up to a very big game. So yeah.
Yep. So I'm just looking through some of the comments here, and Heavy Vibes is saying rest 6 to 7 players. Andrew Galea is saying, I want to see Kenny with good service from the wings. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one going into this game. I think, yeah, pretty much we've covered the majority of it. So, yeah, my starting lineup. Here we go. Let's get a bit funky here. I'm thinking, right, that we're going with Casper in goals, the Bricky, Scales, and Trusty. On the left, I'd start Schlupp. Middle of the park, Bernardo in the 6. Rio and Luke. Up front, Johnny Kenny leading the line. And then I'd probably go Yang, and I would go, tough decision, do I go Maida or do I go Jota on the left to get a bit of a run into him? Actually, no, I'd put Yang out there. I'd start Kun. But Jota does need to play at some point to keep the legs ticking over. So there you go. Willie, what's your starting lineup?
I've gone similar but a little bit different. I've got Sinisalo getting a run out. I've got Johnson at right back, Trusty and Scales centre half, Schlupp at left back. I've gone with Kalma, McCowan and Bernardo in midfield. I've got Jota on the left, Kuhn on the right, and Ida through the middle. But the more I think about it, the more this could be a game for Kenny, because if Ida gets injured, we're kind of fucked. So they might just pull him off. So that sounds bad, actually. Maybe they don't want to pull him off, But they might rest him.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with this. So I agree. I'm listening to Dermot here. Anyone but Yang. Smell the glove. Good point. Forget Yang. Play Maeda as he's not playing midweek. Yep. So for me, it would be Jota. Either Jota and Kun and Maeda. Sort it out that way. But Johnny Kenny can get a start. I reckon he'll bang in a couple. And your score prediction, Willie, I'm thinking we win this one 5-0.
That's exactly what I've got written down here, 5-0, and I've named my 5 scorers too.
Go on then. Who?
Jota, Maeda, Kuhn, Ida, and Kenny.
I got Kenny for a double, Jota with 1, Kuhn with 1, and big red, the Ginger Baresi with the header from a corner. There you go. Scales will get in there. And, you've got here Typhoon McFlustery. I'd give Sinisalo a start. Yep, there you go. Someone agreeing with you. So, it should be a good game overall. And, we'll get through that and get on with it. So, next week's podcast, just letting you all know, they're only going to be live on our Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. They're not going to be out as an audio podcast during the week because I'm away for work, so I can't do the editing and everything. So, just letting you know. So apologies for that. I'll get them out as soon as I get home from the work conference on Friday. But what we'll do is we'll leave that there and we'll go to our final thoughts. So, Willie, got a final thought?
I do, actually. My final thought this week is, America, what the fuck have you done?
My final thoughts, pretty simple. I know it's summertime here, but if you could do us a favor, Mother Nature, and just turn the temperature down a couple of degrees, it would be quite nice, because I'm sick of being sweating all the time. It's like 30-something degrees at the moment when we're on this pod, and I'm in this dark room trying to stay cool, and I'm still filthy hot, so it's not ideal. So, good fun. Anyway, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.